No, I believe Anderson is very focused. He always is in there. And I won't lie, I've never been the most confident person, but you can watch any of my fights in the UFC, and I always fight my ass off. So Saturday will be no different.
Well, in reality, my preparation was very good. I think all the team has done its utmost for this preparation. My normal weight is 100 kilos, but I don't in fact want to go to the title bout on the upper division. In Team Nogueira, we have Rogério, we have Maldonado, we have Rafael Feijão in this light heavy 205, and the other athletes in that division. So I don't really want to go into that. My category is 185, and I don't really want to go down to fight against St. Pierre. If that happens, we will try to do something. He'll go up a bit, I'll go down a little, and then we'll make it happen. And I'm weighing now 96, 97. So to deal with the pre-fight, the way that is being done now, with an adversary who is in a good mood, and the prior fight where you were exchanging the little bit of jitters with Chow. So dealing with these two totally different types of pre-fight, is it different? Is it different for you, or you just ignore anything and just focus only on the fight? I think the real difference is that we UFC athletes, we always have to be aware that this is a sport, that this is growing, that every day more and more people are watching the sport, more and more people like the athletes and like the sport. So in reality, we have to be very, very careful with this. We need to be very careful with a kind of promotion, and when we offend other athletes. I think this is a sport, and I think we just need to have a little bit more respect amongst the athletes. What I have to do is go back home entirely, let's say. That's what I do is when I go in, I do what I have to do, but the end result, that is something which is very unfair. Sometimes we can train the most we can, work out a lot, and end up making one slight mistake, which determines the end of the fight. But my main focus is to fight all I can do and go back home in one single piece.
You've mentioned that you feel like maybe the stars are aligning for you, that this could be a very special night. Can you explain maybe specifically what you feel that way? Is it something you're seeing in your game, something in your mental state, something just the opportunity that's in front of you? What is it that makes you feel like this could be your night?
Yeah, I'm a little superstitious. And, it's on the 13th. There's a lot of stuff with the number 13 going on, and that's a sign for me, for one. I got a kid coming, and that kind of, to me, means, I need to do something spectacular. And I'm in a Rocky movie, and I'm this huge underdog in his backyard, and it's a huge opportunity. And I'm not the guy that always has the best luck, but once in a while, big opportunities come along, and I try to take advantage of them.
Stephan Bonnar is a great athlete. He is one of the athletes who's done history in UFC, and I'm really very pleased to be able to fight against him and to be able to pay back Brazil the fight that I owed them to have here. So I'm really very pleased to fight with a guy like him, and I hope we can in fact give you all a great show, and I hope this fight will always be standing, because it would be a great test for me, because he's a guy who's never been knocked out, and he's a great striker. I'd like to know, how are you seeing this pressure of having to do something new, or having to do a show, of going beyond, not only getting a win? How do you see this? This is like an additional pressure? I think this is normal. I think that when you become someone who has to be won, I think this is normal to have this pressure. But I see this with a lot of ease, I would say. I think a victory, a win, a loss, whenever I'm fighting, I can always be defeated, and I always practice to not get any surprises ahead of me, or to not be surprised with any so-called technique which is better than mine. So I'm always practicing in order to improve what I am in the octagon, to improve my techniques, and that's what I do to not get any surprises. Do you honestly think about retiring, and as Dave Herman just said, that he'd like to submit you and retire you? If you win or lose, Herman, does anything change in your vision about your retirement? You just retired me. Thank you very much. I've never said that. You want to retire me? Well, you know, I work out with a huge team. That's why we have seven workout partners on the same fight at UFC. We train very well with all of them. And sometimes I always joke with this champion is, I'll only retire when he stops. So it's going to take some time, Anderson says. So I just get the motivation of these younger people such as Wagner Calderon, René Forte, Ronnie Jason, and all these kids who want to practice UFC in the gym, and all the experience of Fabio Maldonado, Anderson Silva. We are able to exchange these experiences and do a lot of new things in my career. So I have no intention of stopping now. I came from a very serious contusion, a lesion. You saw it when I broke my arm. I put several pins in my arm, etc. So it's a great victory to be able to come back to the octagon, and I'm going to come back strong. This was a huge inspiration for me to be able to come back, change things around, come back to this fight. But luckily, because of these guys, because of my team, that I have all this inspiration, and I'm going to continue fighting.
Dave Herman, do you think you can get easily intimidated with the huge public all around and crowding the HSBC arena? And second question, what would you do if you woke up tomorrow in Big Nog's body?
No, I don't really notice the crowd. They can be loud, they can be completely silent. Really doesn't make a difference for me. And tomorrow, if I woke up in Big Nog's body, I mean, I'd probably go about and have my pretty normal day. Maybe go to the beach, get some sun.
I don't go to the beach every day. Come on.
No, my normal day.
We've got 7 athletes together with Minotauro. We've got 7 athletes of your team fighting. I'd like to know what that means to you, and how do you keep your focus with all your team, Well, basically, it's as I told you, working out with all these people, having the chance of fighting since a kid all the kids who are starting in UFC to do their big fight, their debut in UFC, and as well as fighting with a large partner in training, such as Anderson Silva, someone who has a lot of experience, who have been training since 2003, Fabio Maldonado. So fighting with all these people together, I think this is more inspiration than responsibility. So in the last month, I left all the responsibilities of a gym, of tidying things up, etc. I'm not a coach. I'm never a coach. I practice with them, but I've always tried to work out with all of them and to learn with them, even from those who are most nervous as well as people who have more experience. So I was able to pick up a little bit of each one of them. Is there a possibility of, with Slades, to have a fight last longer, to go slower, to not hit so strongly, to not hit strongly? No way, no way. I'm going to punch him as strong as I can. There's no way of giving him a soft punch. No way whatsoever. If you were going to fight St. Pierre, it would be a matched fight. Would there be a possibility of you going up a little bit and John Jones going down a bit? Would you do that fight? Well, look, there are many possibilities, but fighting John Jones is one of them that I don't think is possible. There's no way. You're already the champion for a long time, and I'd like to know, for you, what has been more difficult in your career? Was it to get to the UFC title bout, or to stay at the top as you've been for a long time? I think staying where we are at the time, like we are, to just continue winning, to remain as the champion is more difficult, obviously, until you get here. you find many problems that you face, you have many difficulties, but I'm lucky that everything has worked out. I think the most difficult thing, in my opinion, is to stay there. People are demanding things from you all the time. People are always trying to make you, I don't know, you always have to be focused and concentrated for anything that might have happened, such as those that have happened. So it's always much more difficult for you to stay there at the top than to get there. What was this process like for you to be called by UFC to fight Stephan Bonnar? Did you have any doubt in accepting this? What was that? Could you tell us? Well, we were doing some publicity work, and we got a call from our boss, Ed Suarez, saying that Dana would like us to fight. And that's automatic, we just looked at each other, and we were in a rest period. We were just like working out. So we looked at each other, and I said, okay, if you fight, I'll do it. And that's what we did. I think this is something that I was owing the fans, to have a fight again, the last fight against Chael Sonnen. All Brazilians were really involved in a very intense manner, and I think it was cool. I think Brazil showed that we need to be respected, that we have great skills in this sport, and I owe this to all Brazilians and all fans in Brazil. I think when you're a champion, I never sought this. I just wanted to be as good as my coaches, because at my time, you didn't have all the things weren't as glamorous as they are now. We only had one event, which was Pride, and they didn't have my category. There wasn't my division. You didn't have my weight class in the Pride. So I always try to find my space. I try to be better than I am every day. But I didn't have this thing of being a champion. So I just wanted to be better than I used to be the day before. So now that I'm here, I am aware that there's a lot of responsibility behind all of this, and I remember every day where I came from, where I am, and where I intend to get to. Well, being back in Brazil, I think, is really very exciting, especially in Rio de Janeiro, where everything started, where all the MMA culture started since the Gracie family. So coming back here, coming back to the home of martial arts is very important. To see all the crowd shouting, we can mentalize this and see all of this. We see it as very important, all the strength of the crowd. I can really capture this very well. I can transform this in energy, and we're all very, very happy. I'm really very happy to fight here in Rio because of the crowd, to be beside my home, beside my gym. So we have many athletes in our gym here who are fighting in the same day, and I'm really very, very happy in being beside the champ, Anderson Silva, and to know how important these fights are for us. Well, in reality, there's a huge responsibility here. I think everything that we have gotten so far, I think we usually joke that we are like Brazilian heritage, I would say. So the title isn't mine, the title is ours. It's a Brazilian title. So I know how important it is to serve as a role model for children, for other athletes. And we see this with a lot of responsibility. And this is something he doesn't really like, we say this, but this is something that he demands from us all the time. Minotauro demands this from us, to give a good example. All the athletes in our team are athletes who are really very focused, always trying to do things like he did and that he has been doing, giving us good examples.